Hello everyone, welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at this, the Revell Boeing 747-200 in 1 to 390 scale. So join me, Matt from Model Minutes, as I get stuck into this box and see what it's like. So on the front you can see we've got the blue boxing, so this indicates kind of straight away that this may be a slightly older kit. It's a Boeing 747-200 and we've got a tail flash up here for Air Canada, so I presume there's only one paint scheme in the box. 1 to 390 scale, so that is a slightly strange scale. I don't think I've ever had anything else in that scale, so perhaps this is like a fit the box kind of product. We have some dimensions, 18.3 centimeters in length, 15.6 centimeters in width, but no part count that I can see on the front. We have an item code of 04210. Onto the back of the box then we have some more images of different kits which are available in the Revell range and a breakdown on the skill level system that this boxing is using. It's a skill level 3 as indicated there, which basically means that it has more parts, more than 30 parts but less than 100, so it doesn't really give you a great deal of information on how difficult the kit would be to build, because you could have a very difficult kit with only 25 parts and a fairly easy kit with 60 parts, so it's not particularly indicative of that. Onto this side here we do have some information about the actual 747 as well as some paint color recommendations from the Revell range, particularly white, a green color and an aluminium. Flipping over onto the other side we do have the same information we saw on the front, indicating the length. We have the scale and also a brief overview of what's going to be included in the box. We have a copyright date of 1997 on this side here, but do take that with a pinch of salt. So 1997 may not be the tooling age. It's just the copyright date of this particular kind of boxing. So let's get inside the box and see what we have. Right, so here's the instructions in black and white. We have the same image as on the front of the box, but it's not particularly legible. Right, what's going on here? Why? What? Ooh. Hang on, is this... Right, so it's an A3 piece of paper which they've turned into a booklet, but not turned into a booklet, if that makes sense. Right, bit weird. Revell Boeing 747. We have safety information and a symbol sort of key over here. It is a slightly strange. The printing doesn't seem as clear as I've seen on other kits. It does look a little bit blurry in places, a bit harder to read, which is a bit of a shame. It looks like it's like a scan of a copy of the instructions and then it's been printed again. Bit weird. It doesn't match the same paper, you see, as this. This is a health and safety warning or instruction booklet, and you can see that this is like the standard one they use, and the paper's more yellow, and then this paper is more white. So it's a bit strange, but we'll persevere. This kit was sealed, by the way, when I bought it. I have only had it unsealed to look inside. Right, at the top, we've got a sprue map of the various parts, which is always handy to see in case we need to locate something. And then we come on to the construction. We have our two fuselage halves. We must add 3 grams of weight in the nose, and we have a clear part for our sort of windscreen for our pilots. Wing surfaces get glued together, and then we add our tail surfaces. Engines get joined together, fairly simple. It's just an intake with 2 halves. We do 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. We add those onto the bottom of the wing, add the wings to the aircraft, and then we can do our wheels. So we've got quite a few bits and pieces to do for the wheels, but I'm pretty sure you can do wheels up. Yes. So if you want wheels down, then you need to do this option here. And I think, hang on, what's going on here? No, that's wheels down. This is all wheels down. That's wheels up. Right, okay. So for wheels down, we've got lots of different bits and pieces which need to go in, and then the wheels go in and there for the nose. But for wheels up, you just literally glue all these bits in place on the bottom. So we do have that choice, which is good. I do like it when they include the option to have wheels raised. So I may go wheels raised if it's appropriate. And then we come on to the painting instructions, which are a little bit vague because they're not particularly clear given how blurry everything is. So it looks to me as though we're overall white, and then E and B, I think they were a grey and an aluminium when we were looking back here. So we've got to go and find the painting instructions, which are here. E was grey and B was metallic. Yeah, I don't like that Revell do this. I would much prefer just to see these paint names or colour numbers rather than giving it a new letter, but I've discussed my annoyance at that paint system in the past. So yeah, it doesn't look too difficult. All I'd probably do is just a bit of masking and you'd be good to go. One paint scheme, so that's it. Let us now look at the decals. Decals, not a great deal here. We have a copyright date of 1997 over here. This is only one paint scheme. It is possible that these are cartograph decals because the code, someone told me previously that if there's a C at the end of the label here, they could be cartograph, but you know, they don't specifically say who the manufacturer is. We do know, however, they were printed in Italy. The printing though is pretty nice. Doesn't seem to be any real issues. We do have windscreen decals here. I know we got a clear part, but it looks like you can just put those over the top if you'd prefer. And yeah, these are these side windows. Hopefully they go on to the model okay and they don't like not sync with the locations. But yeah, decals are pretty nice, aren't they? Interestingly, this looks to be more like a blue here. On the box it was like more of a green, which is interesting. I don't know which one is more typically accurate, but it is interesting they don't quite match. But yeah, decals okay by the looks of it. And then we have our parts, and you can see that this is a first for me. I've not actually looked inside of this bag, so let's have a little look together. Right, so what's that? What's just that that's fallen off? Don't know. There's just a random clear bit. What's that for? Oh, we've got a stand. Hello. Well, what's this for? Is that the windscreen? That's the windscreen, isn't it? Doesn't look much like a windscreen, but that must be the windscreen. Okay, so yeah, I probably will just glue that in and then use the decals. Right, so one clear part for the windscreen, just a plastic blob really. Not a great deal to it. It's just a sort of blob. It's got some flash which will need cleaning up. But yeah, interesting. We do have a display stand now, which is really cool. I don't remember it saying that we had a display stand or anything of it, but yeah, definitely we'll consider using that. Not sure if I will keep it clear. I typically like to spray my stands black. I think it looks a little bit better. So that's possibly what I'll do, is I'll glue this together and then spray it black because it will look nicer, especially with these mold ejector marks here. You won't see them because they're only on the inside if I spray it black. Interesting. Let's have a look and see where it should go, if that's the case. Oh yeah, no, here it is. So fuselage, there is a cutout here which I will have to cut out in order for the display stand to go in, but the instructions didn't make reference to that, which is interesting. So if you wanted to do that, just be aware, cut this cutout here and on the other side, and then you can install your display stand, which is what I would do probably. Display stand is included, so I'll probably go wheels up. Right, what did we get? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 little sprues of plastic parts. Molded to a reasonably okay quality. The plastic feels rather hard, a little bit dense, not flexible at all. Maybe a slight flex in the thin parts, but not a great deal. It does not feel greasy. Mold quality is generally okay. The details on here are of a recessed. We've got recessed panel lines and the windows are recessed as well. There is flash though. So all over this you can see that there's flash, which will need cleaning up. Nothing on the inside, but I would be surprised if there were given the small scale. Engine components then are the same kind of deal. And we've got some ejector pin marks which are going to need cleaning up, especially on the inside here. Bit frustrating that there's ejector pin marks there. They'll need cleaning out. And then the flash removed as well. So it's a little bit tatty. That's that one. Let's look at the other one then. Same kind of deal by the looks of it on here. Recessed panel lines across here. I mean, they're quite nicely reproduced. But again, flash. A lot of flash that will need cleaning up. And the tiny little wheels and the intakes for our turbines and the smaller details. Yeah, not terrible. Ejector pin marks are quite heavy, so they will need to be cleaned up and looked after. But yeah, it's an interesting little kit. We've got the wing surfaces. Again, ejector pin marks are very prevalent here, so they are going to need to be cleaned away before we join the surfaces because it just won't fit otherwise, because that's very proud. So a bit tatty, a little bit tatty, will need some work. And that feels like the trend of the Revell kits I've looked at recently, which is a little bit frustrating. There's a little bit of a mould blob there. I don't know what that is. Is that on the other side as well? No. So there's like a lump here. It doesn't seem to be from ejector pin. I don't know what it's from. But it's a bit of a lump there, which is strange. Slight sink marks in a few places as well, like here and here. That's where the locating pins are for when you join it together. No, I think given the small scale, it's kind of okay, but it's going to take a lot of work to clean this up. Tail surfaces on there as well. And then this is going to be the same, no doubt, same kind of deal. You know, it's not terrible looking, is it? It doesn't look too bad. It's just going to need a bit of work. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, not a great deal to see. We had a number of white plastic sprues molded to it's an okay quality, but there's a lot of ejector pins, there's a lot of flash that will need cleaning up to make it usable. One of the great things I do like about this kit is that we have a display stand, which means I can do this in a flying pose, which is definitely how I'm going to do this one. We have our clear part for our canopy, or windscreen rather, but you might as well have just molded it blank because, well, you're just going to put a decal over that, aren't you? Transfers look to be pretty nice. They don't look too bad at all. But the colour matching doesn't quite match that on the box, but you know, we'll have to see how they go on. And then the instructions. Instructions on the whole, a little bit hard to read in places because the printing on them is not great. Annoying paint colour call-out system. And the steps seem to be generally easy to follow. No reference to doing your display stand, but I would prefer that these be in colour because you know, it makes it easier to determine what you're going to paint and what color you're going to use, because you can mix up the shades of gray and get confused and paint it the wrong thing. But yeah, that's it. Little kit, quick video, I hope. Let's talk about the tooling date on this then. So we've seen that it does look a little bit tatty. We know that we saw a copyright date on here. Where were you? Of 1997, and there was 1997 on there, and 1997 is the tooling date as far as I can tell from my research online. So this is basically all there's ever been. It would be nice, I guess, to have seen this in different liveries, different operators perhaps. I presume that there were other people who operated the 747-200, so perhaps in the future Revell could re-release this in different operator paint schemes. I am aware that there has been a like a model set version of this which comes with paints as well, but you know, swings and roundabouts really for what you're getting inside the box. For a 1997 kit, it does look a little bit tatty. I've seen kits from the 90s which look better. I've seen kits older than this which look better, but you know, the level of detail seems to be acceptable given the small scale. The scale, of course, though, slightly odd, doesn't really match with anything that I'm aware of. It kind of is a fit the box kind of scale. So not really sure what this would be compatible with. Hey, so editing Matt here. It turns out my research into the tooling of this kit wasn't quite as intensive and thorough as I initially thought. I just wanted to jump in here with a little correction. So From what I can tell, this is actually a Nitto tooling, which dates from 1972. So that goes some way to kind of explain what we've seen inside the box today. Given the criticisms that I've made, it starts to make a lot more sense that this be a 1970s tooling rather than something from the 90s. Again, this swings back to my concern though that certain model companies aren't particularly transparent with the tooling dates of the kits they have inside the boxes. And I'm sure that other people will have made the same mistake at some point, thinking that this was potentially a native Revell tooling and being considerably younger than it actually is. A little disappointing, but I'm glad that we've managed to get to the bottom of this one now. Anyway, back to previous me. How much would you be looking at getting one of these for if you wanted to get one today? Well, currently this is still in the Revell range and has been available on their website for €6 or €5.99, which if we convert to pounds is a little bit less. And with that in mind, I feel like I may have been overcharged because when I bought this in the shop, it was, I think it was like £7 or £8, which means that it was above the RRP, but I didn't know it at the time. So with that in mind, yes, I think I was definitely overcharged. I don't mind so much supporting, physical businesses. However, with that in mind and the RRP, I did pay more than the RRP. From what we've seen inside the box here, maybe €6 is a little bit high. Maybe take €1 off and you might have a better deal as something fun to mess around with on the weekend, especially given the quality of the kit that we've seen. But on the whole, this appears to be pretty much like a pocket money kit, and it doesn't even get into double figures in the price that it charges you. And with that, I think I'm going to call this video here. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of my review and if this assessment was fair. As always, a quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. Massive thanks to these guys on screen. If you'd like to join them or support the channel in other ways, full information is below the video. The best way to support the channel for free though is by subscribing with notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.